Just a month after the AI-171 crash, Republic getting crucial details on the communication and the black box data. 2 black boxes recovered. Analysis in India. Four Chinese nationals arrested in Greece, spying on the Rafale at the home of the Rafales in Greece. Full details on why and who it was.
Decided to have 9 terrorist targets in the crisscross of Pakistan. It was not only border area something, which we thought were there before. We missed none.
NSA Ajit Doval hailing the success of Operation Synindur, reiterating how India decimated 9 Pakistani terror dens. Challenges foreign media to show proof of damage to India. 1984 riots. Witnesses identified Jagdish Titler in the riots cases. A witness says on the day of the riots, Titler was seen arriving at the Gurudwara in a white ambassador car. Critical testimony given. It's been nearly a month since one of the deadliest aviation disasters, not just in India's recent history, but across the world. It's a tragedy that claimed 241 lives, shattered families across continents. And tonight, for the first time since the crash, we bring you exclusive details of the ongoing investigation, where it stands, what happened, and what we know so far. As the top brass at Air India, Boeing face tough questions, and the black box begins to tell the story of what really happened on board AI-171.
On the 12th of June, 242 people boarded a flight en route London. 30 seconds on, Captain Sumeet Sabharwal issued a Mayday call, moments after which the Air India AI-171 flight went down. 241 lives lost at the blink of an eye, and one miraculous survivor. The plane crashed into the residential area of a civil hospital campus, hitting the doctors' quarters and the students' hostel buildings. And 4 days after a high-level inquiry was launched by the Civil Aviation Ministry and Aviation watchdog DGCA, the much important black box was recovered. The top command of Air India and Boeing has been under intense scrutiny since the tragic incident over the maintenance of the aircraft and the Boeing 787 fleet. And while India and the grieving families await closure, Republic has the exclusive details tonight.
And we have the first bit of breaking news update coming in. In fact, we had access to the full details of that meeting, and we are not putting out the full details because we will wait for that report, but we have minute-by-minute details of what really happened. 1 month after the tragic crash of Air India flight AI-171, full communication records have been accessed. We have the details coming in. The first bit of breaking news update, that analysis of the FDR and CDR is being done. Analysis of FDR, CDR being done. Pilot communication with the crew on board is available. And the full communication with the ATC has been retrieved. And these are details and the data recovered from the black box. Communication with other aircraft has also been made available. Both black boxes, I repeat, both black boxes, 2 black boxes have been recovered and are being analyzed. And despite all the speculative reports of a conclusive sort of a finding in this case, what we are hearing, that a timeline of 1 month is needed, 1 more month needed for analysis of the black box. That's breaking number 1. Now, let's get you the second bit of breaking news update. There are 4 parts to the breaking story. In the second bit of breaking news update, in what could be a first for Indian aviation investigation, what is referred to as the golden chassis. The golden chassis, an essential tool for decoding black box data, has been brought to India, marking a significant leap in country's technological capabilities. For the first time, in fact, it has happened, and this has happened following the intervention of the Ministry of Civil Aviation. The golden chassis has been brought after the MOCA, the Ministry of Civil Aviation, intervened, and it will ensure that India now studies black boxes. In the past, when there were accidents, the black boxes would be sent to the OEM or another country where the OEM is located. But in this case, the golden chassis has been brought to India. It will be investigated in India. So there is no pressure factor here. Harsha is joining me first up. And before I do that, I want to go across to Harsha. One question with her, and then I'll go across to Captain Surjit Singh Panesar as well. Harsha, tell us about this golden chassis and what this means for the investigation right now.
So, Niranjan, this golden chassis is very important for the data retrieving of the black box. We know that this time CBR and DFDR both are being analyzed and investigated in India only. It was the very first time that both the CBR and DFDR has not been sent to US. The entire retrieving is happening in India only. And the golden chassis is an equipment which is needed to retrieve the data of the black box. And it arrived from US in India on 23rd of June. And in fact, both CBR and DFDR flew from Ahmedabad to Delhi to the investigation center to the lab of AAIB on 15th of June, and from different aircraft. So we have got to know that in this entire investigation of AAIB, where the Ahmedabad plane crashed, detail will be coming out. Golden chassis plays a very important role, and therefore the one of the investigator from US especially flew with golden chassis so that the data of the black box could be retrieved, so that it could be known that what happened during the last minute in the Ahmedabad airplane crash. What exactly was the communication established between the pilot and between the ATC, and those last minute recordings are very important. And today Rammohan Naidu himself has stated that today late evening we are expecting that the AIB preliminary investigation report will be published in the PIB and in the MOCA website as well. We'll get to know today exactly what has happened in the AI 171 crash and exactly what transpired which led to the crash. Was it the faulty equipment? Was it the Boeing fault? Was it the Air India aircraft fault? What exactly happened? So the investigation report will be submitted today late evening. But golden chassis is a very important equipment through which the data will be retrieved. Golden chassis equipment will be fixed in the CVR and DFDR, and then only AIB could know exactly what is mentioned in the black box, exactly what the data is there in the black box. But yes, our black box never flew to
be with
US
me, Harsha, because I have another
country.
breaking news update coming in. Stay with me because I have the third breaking news update coming in, because there was a mention in that meeting that took place a few days back about defective items. Now, this is critical because for the first time, if a defective item angle is being investigated, this is an indicator that we got from the meeting. What the crew spoke was being corroborated with the aircraft data that is being analyzed. The black box data is being corroborated with the crew speech. In fact, for the first time, we are hearing that Air Force officials have been roped in for the AI-171 investigation. Investigators have been roped in from the IAF for the AI-171 probe. Now, these could be, we don't know whether they are serving or retired, but IAF experts are now involved in the AI-171 investigation. The entire wreckage in this case has been moved close to the airport, and the entire aircraft was reconstructed at a parallel site. Defective items were sent to labs and agencies for analysis. These are minute by minute, very, very minute details we've picked up. And Captain Surjit Singh Panesar, former director of flight safety training, in the erstwhile Indian Airlines, joining us on the show. Captain Panesar, one, if I can get your view on this golden chassis and how critical that becomes if India is going to investigate the black box. Point number two, what you make of the defective items that we are being told now have been sent to foreign labs for analysis?
Well, Arnab, let me tell you, initially they said we have no facility to decode DFDR and CBR. Now they say we got all the facilities, we'll decode this. And now we have to see what report they are giving. They are not involving any other experts from outside except some selected few ones. Because it's not a public inquiry, it's a closed-door investigation, neither a judicial inquiry. I personally feel the pilot has given his life to save the passenger. He tried his last minute to save them, but when it became beyond his control, he announced Mayday, Mayday. I think pilot has given life to save these passengers. It should be appreciated. But now what all has happened, CBR, DFDA will decode everything, provided it is made to public or no. We have to wait and see what reports they are making. And these experts, when they write, unless they make the report public, it is not easy for us to contemplate what could have happened. Only professional advice will come only once we see the actual reading of the DFDR and CBR, what conspired in the cockpit and the DF. It records more than 200 parameters. Temperature, fuel contamination, engine failing, seat going back. All these are contemplations. It is not good to go on contemplation. Let's wait for the report. They say they are the expert. Even I believe ECO experts have come. I
Yeah.
wish they should know the NTSB experts who are the world famous experts in investigation of rail and air accidents. Now, only after the report we see, then only you can contemplate what all has happened. Whether this report is correct or incorrect, and it is professionally made report, or it has been cooked up report. That only can be seen after
Yeah.
we see the report. Unless we see the report, it is not good to contemplate anything on the working of these experts who have come out with the investigation of this crash. They have Secretary, Ministry of Home Affairs, Secretary Civil Aviation, Bureau of Civil Aviation Security. There are so many experts who are involved in this investigation. And let us see how they accept this report, and then we will give our comments. Then it will be good for the public to know what are our comments and what the report says.
Captain Paresar, thank you for joining us on the show. I appreciate you joining us this evening on This Is Exclusive. Thank you very much. I have another bit of breaking news update on this because we are hearing that four teams have been formed. Before I go to the next breaking on the Chinese nationals arrested while spying on Rafale, 4 teams have been formed which are looking closely at the detailing of that report. And let me go to the next breaking news update now. China has been spreading disinformation about the Rafale in the Indian Air Force. Now, this is a first. We have got information now, and more information. In fact, the arrest happened a few days back, but more information coming in about the nature of arrest. The 4 Chinese nationals who were caught snooping on the Rafales in Greece. There are more details coming in. They were caught snooping, taking photographs of the Tanagra Air Base in Greece. Tanagra Air Base in Greece. And the Greek Rafales are stationed here at the Tanagra Air Base. And the 4 Chinese spies were caught taking photos of the Rafale jets. They were interrogated, and then it was confirmed that they were taking photographs. And Greece has received 24 Rafales in the last few months alone. So they have received 24 Rafales, and they were caught recording pictures and videos at the home of Rafales in Greece. Major K.K. Sinha is joining us on the broadcast. General K.K. Sinha, we know the kind of disinformation that China spread using its embassies, especially in Indian embassy. They used the Indian embassy to spread a lot of fake news essentially on Rafales. Now, this is critical. 4 Chinese nationals caught red-handed spying on the Rafales in Greece. It's interesting because Greece is taking on Turkey. China and Turkey have helped Pakistan in Operation Synindur. So what the Chinese were doing in Greece becomes very critical.
Good evening, Niranjan. This has become very interesting, as you said, that, and especially the linkages with the Greeks. First, Rafale and, the team. These 4 Chinese nationals who have been caught snooping of Rafale jet in Greece, they are a team of 2 men, 1 woman, and 1 teenager. And they have been caught. Basically, they were photographing the first thing in that air base and also the Rafale. They have been caught. And this is north of Athens and Greece, where the Prime Minister was there. If you remember, before you went to United States of America for G7 meeting, he had a stop at Athens because you brought it out. We have been leveraging with Greece, and Greece has got, said that they have got about 24 Rafale, which has just been procured. See, it becomes very interesting, because what the Chinese, especially after Operation Synindur, because they wanted to have misinformation spread all over, and their media was, linked with this. What they were, actually cheesed off is that, PL-15E, if you remember, beyond visual range, which they fired on our Rafale, that was lying on a field. It was failed, and they are cheesed off how this, the Rafale has evaded. They initially, made a, try to have a misinformation that 6 Rafales are down, then brought down to 4, and things like that. What is important that, about 2 days back, a similar snooping case has come from Ukraine. If you remember, they are a father and son. See the combination has been caught, they were trying to snoop again, Neptune anti-missile program. So here is very interesting that, they are going all over the world. Wherever they find, and this Neptune missile program, Moscow was down because of this. So anything good, they are trying to get top of it. J17, J20, Block 3, J35, they all failed. You are, more or less failing or failed, especially in Operation Synindur, very badly, and they have been exposed. And Niranjan, it is very interesting. The Rafale is doing very well. France, Egypt, India, Qatar, Greece, I think UAE and then Serbia now is going for it. 7 countries. And India is very important because this snooping is because of that. India had 36, 26 for Navy and 114 Make in India program. I think there is some talk is going on. So they want, why India is, on these all snooping, they might be doing it in Greece, thinking that, it's a small country and they will get away on that. They have gone over there as a tourist and they were doing it. Now they are in the custody. They have been detained by the Air Force police over there. Let's see what comes out of it. But this is the design of China, but has to be defeated. The misinformation they have created. We found Rafale to be very good. It may be 4.5 generation, but I think it's outmatched 5th generation, what they have got in their category.
Thank you for joining us, sir. We were actually waiting for more details. We will get some more details on this, on the role that the Chinese played. We have some pictures, perhaps, that we will put out in the next few hours and days. Thank you for joining us, General K.K. Sinha, for being on the show. The Chinese nationals and Republic put out a full dossier a few days back on how China tried to run down the Rafale. And if they were snooping on the Rafale in Greece, there are many questions that remain. We will continue to track the story. Thanks for joining us on This Is Exclusive. Co-powered by Century Ply Club Prime. Raho befikar.
Amity has been ranked amongst the top 3% universities globally, a testimony to Amity's globally benchmarked quality.
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध। MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
As the war scorches and U.S. weapons start arriving again, the Kremlin is sending a message: we're still open to peace. But here's the twist. Is President Zelensky finally being cornered into deciding if he really wants to blink at all? Russia's war on Ukraine has raged for more than 3 years. But now, Moscow claims it's still waiting for Ukraine to restart peace talks, a third round of direct negotiations, a possible deal, and it's Ukraine.
The reason we've launched the Nationalist Collective is because we believe it is time now for a group of ideologically driven Indians to drive the destiny of our country. For far too long, people who have had interests inimical to national interest have held sway. We need to put nationalism first, nation first. The Nationalist Collective is a very clear and sharp movement, presents the spirit of a new India which stands by what is right, does what is right, and raises its voice for what is right. Remember, this country is safe only if it is in the hands of nationalists. This country will grow only if nation first becomes our principal motto, where the only ism that matters is nationalism. Join the Nationalist Collective. It is going to be the largest non-political movement in this country.
Twenty-five-year-old Radhika killed by her father in cold blood. Social media reels, daughter's income, societal pressure. An argument, fit of rage, and 3 gunshots in the back. Debating tonight at 8 p.m. Air bases, 1 operation. Man of the hour breaks silence. NSA challenges Pakistan to show 1 image of damage in India. Foreign media hoax busted. Pakistan has nowhere to hide. Debating tonight at 9 p.m.
Co-powered by Century Ply Club Prime. रहो बेफिक्र.
पैसा लगाना है तो सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम पे लगाओ. डूबेगा नहीं, जलेगा भी नहीं, कोई खा नहीं जाएगा, धोखा नहीं देगा, ऊपर नीचे भी नहीं होगा, सेफ रहेगा, सिक्योर्ड में मिनिमम 30 साल का रिटर्न देगा. अब इससे बेटर इन्वेस्टमेंट है तो बताओ. सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम, रहो बेफिक्र.
ये है सीक्रेट रेसिपी MDH का जीरा सिप जल जीरा मसाला.
इसको घर पे लगाओगे तो शादी का तो पता नहीं, पर घर पक्का नहीं टूटेगा.
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं. रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड.
पहाड़ों में एक हाइकिंग स्टिक भी बन सकती है. Hi, this is Chef Ranveer Brar. Guarantee you brilliance on behalf of IIHM.
आधे बाउल दही में 4 चम्मच MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला डाला. स्टर करो, पुदीना चटनी तैयार. MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला.
The reason we've launched the Nationalist Collective is because we believe it is time now for a group of ideologically driven Indians to drive the destiny of our country. For far too long, people who have had interests inimical to national interest have held sway. We need to put nationalism first, nation first. The Nationalist Collective is a very clear and sharp movement, presents the spirit of a new India which stands by what is right, does what is right, and raises its voice for what is right. Remember, this country is safe only if it is in the hands of nationalists. This country will grow only if nation first becomes our principal motto, where the only ism that matters is nationalism. Join the Nationalist Collective. It is going to be the largest non-political movement in this country.
As the war scorches and U.S. weapons start arriving again, the Kremlin is sending a message: we're still open to peace. But here's the twist. Is President Zelensky finally being cornered into deciding if he really...
The reason we've launched the Nationalist Collective is because we believe it is time now for a group of ideologically driven Indians to drive the destiny of our country. For far too long, people who have had interests inimical to national interest have held sway. We need to put nationalism first, nation first. The Nationalist Collective is a very clear and sharp movement, presents the spirit of a new India, which stands by what is right, does what is right, and raises its voice for what is right. Remember, this country is safe only if it is in the hands of nationalists. This country will grow only if nation first becomes our principal motto, where the only ism that matters is nationalism. Join the Nationalist Collective. It is going to be the largest non-political movement in this country. 'The reason we've launched the Nationalist Collective is because we believe it is time now for a group of ideologically driven Indians to drive the destiny of our country. For far too long, people who have had interests inimical to national interest have held sway. We need to put nationalism first, nation first. The Nationalist Collective is a very clear and sharp movement, presents the spirit of a new India, which stands by what is right, does what is right, and raises its voice for what is right. Remember, this country is safe only if it is in the hands of nationalists. This country will grow only if nation first becomes our principal motto, where the only ism that matters is nationalism. Join the Nationalist Collective. It is going to be the largest non-political movement in this country.
Five-year-old Radhika killed by her father in cold blood. Social media reels, daughter's income, societal pressure. An argument, fit of rage, and 3 gunshots in the back. Debating tonight at 8 p.m. Kangna makes bizarre remarks in disaster-hit Mandi. No cabinet, no funds, and locals confront photo op. Has Kangna become a liability for BJP? Debating tonight at 8:30 p.m. 13 air bases, 1 operation. Man of the hour breaks silence. NSA challenges Pakistan to show 1 image of damage in India. Foreign media hoax busted. Pakistan has nowhere to hide. Debating tonight at 9 p.m.
reason we've launched the Nationalist Collective is because we believe it is time now for a group of ideologically driven Indians to drive the destiny of our country. For far too long,
Viewers, from your smartphones to your smart television, the trending stories are breaking the internet. Trump is making waves again with his trade and tariff war. Not just this, we have NSA Ajit Doval daring the international media to prove that any target in India was hit during Operation Synindur. He's setting the record straight once and for all. He's made an open challenge to Pakistan as well, and every Western media outlet that dares to distort the facts during Operation Synindur. Meanwhile, we have a story from Gurugram. 25-year-old rising tennis champion shot dead by her own father. We'll get you the chilling details that have been accessed by Republic TV. On the other side, viewers, a Birkin bag is making news, well, as it was sold for a whopping amount, and the number itself would probably bear a hole in our pockets. Of course, burn a hole in our pockets. Talk about extravagant fashion statements. We have all this and a lot more packed in this edition of Trending. I'm Rakshita Mishra. Let's get started. So Trump has gone full throttle with his tariff war, and the countries are teetering on the edge. We'll get you what is going to happen with India in just a moment from now. All that's brewing between India and US as far as the trade talks are concerned. But first, we'll tell you about the war of words that has broken out between Trump and Brazil's Lula da Silva, the Brazilian president. A message from US President Donald Trump on Wednesday landed like a grenade in Brazil, bringing the relationship between the two countries to an all-time low. In a dramatic escalation of tensions, President Donald Trump announced on the 9th of July that the US would impose a 50% tariff on all imports from Brazil, beginning 1st of August this year. Now, Brazil's President Lula da Silva quickly shot back on X. He said, and I quote, "Brazil is a sovereign nation with independent institutions and will not accept any form of tutelage." He's also said that the claim regarding a US trade deficit in its commercial relationship with Brazil is inaccurate, and that the statistics from the US government itself shows a surplus of $410 billion in trade of goods and services with Brazil over the past 15 years. He concludes saying that sovereignty, respect, and the unwavering defense of the interests of the Brazilian people are the values that guide our relationship with the world. And not just this, viewers. US President Donald Trump has also said that he would strongly consider backing a new Russia sanction bill that aims to force Russian President Vladimir Putin to negotiate an end to the Ukraine war. But the news is that the bill, which was introduced in the US Senate earlier this year, proposes a 500% tariff on countries like India, which purchase Russian energy products. So, how it is going to impact India, we'll get to you that. Meanwhile, US President Donald Trump has also decided to defer the announcement of new tariffs on Indian goods, signaling a potential opening for renewed bilateral trade talks. And so for more on that, I have joining me live on the bulletin, on the broadcast, Senior Executive Editor Abhishek Kapoor, and also my colleague Arnab joining us from the business desk. To you first, Abhishek. Well, we understand that there is a pause for a cause between India and US. What really is brewing?
Abhishek, basically the Indian delegation, it is learnt, is going back to the US to negotiate the trade deal between India and US further. What do we know so far? What is going on between the two countries?
Well, you see, my information is that they have already gone back, and which means that there is a rethink happening on the part of the Americans, and that's why they are back to the drawing board and for a discussion. Again, I'm given to understand, Pranav, that a broad understanding has been reached that India would get a flat tariff of, or an average tariff of about 15%. You know, it would vary from product to product. So some might be just zero. The others might be 25%. There could be a 10% tariff on others. So taken together as a whole, it would be an average of 15%. Now look at this. We have 10% of base tariff, and then you get 15%. Plus, if you add what Trump is talking about, another additional 10% of tariff on BRICS nations, or those aligning with BRICS. So in that sense, I think we are looking at something like an average of 25% of tariff for India. Now, one way of looking that is that this is okay picture, because in the month of February, when Trump had originally announced the tariffs, in the month of April actually, India was put in the 26% bracket. So now if it is an average of 25%, including, mind you, the BRICS tariff, then we are looking at a good happy picture of 15% average tariff for India, and that's pretty much the best you can expect from the situation we are in, where even the long-standing allies of the United States like Japan have got 40-45%. So I think in that sense, it's looking good. The issue of dairy and agriculture is still off the table, but the team is back. The negotiations are back. There were some issues which Donald Trump did not like. The deal was the mini deal was effectively on his table, but he has sent it back to his team to negotiate or renegotiate with India, and that's why the Indian team is back. And so that's a very interesting and important development. And I believe in the scenario that we are in, where there are unilateral announcements being made by President Trump, this seems like a happy going forward insofar as the India-US bilateral trade agreement is concerned.
Absolutely. In fact, despite the July 9 deadline, we haven't received any letter, so that's a positive sign in itself.
We have time till August 1 now, effectively, so that's why the team is back.
Perfect. Yeah, that's what we have for you, Rakshita.
Right, Pranav and Abhishek, thanks so much for joining us with those details and insights on what's going behind the scenes there. Viewers, shifting our focus now. The world bore witness today to India's undisputed might when it unleashed the formidable Operation Synindur on Pakistan, a show of precision and power that has since been misrepresented. Yes, that's about the Western media's agenda. How it twisted the facts, it turned the facts, distorted the facts, presenting their own narratives at best and blatant lies at worst. Their coverage a far cry from the truth. Now, NSA Ajit Doval has set the record straight once and for all. What India did there. Western media, on the other hand, had twisted and turned the facts, presented a distorted narrative at best and the blatant lies at worst. And what was their coverage about? It was a far cry from the truth. And now, NSA Ajit Doval has set the record straight once and for all.
9 terrorist targets in the crisscross of Pakistan. It was not only border area something, which we thought were there different. We missed none. We hit nowhere else except that. Entire operation was started at 5 minutes past 1 and was over at 28 minutes past 1. 23 minutes. Thereafter, a lot of things are said that this thing, foreign press and all these things, they said Pakistan did that and this. You tell me one photograph, one imagery. These days, these imageries are from the satellites all over the world. They are this thing. Which shows any Indian damage being done, even a glass pane having been thrown.
So, Doval was speaking at the 60-second convocation of the IIT Madras, and he made it clear that Operation Synindur was not just a strike, it was a message. He also highlighted the power of indigenous weapons and zero collateral damage, of absolute precision. This was a message to the world and to Pakistan. He made it clear that India is not only capable of striking back, we do it with precision, we do it with power, and we do it with pride. Ladies and gentlemen, we have received an overwhelming response from the members of Nationalist collective on the same. Watch this.
I don't know why are we even discussing Pakistan, because they have always thrived on deceit, cheating people, cheating their own family members if it comes to that, over and above being a terrorist nation. So I guess, they are done and dusted, and there's no there's no coming back for them. I mean, they can't be in a civilized society. So it's like the day you eliminate Pakistan, the world will be at greater peace.
Namaste. I'm Arpit Tiwari, member of the Nationalist collective. Operation Synindur was a strategic masterclass by our armed forces, showcasing sheer precision, coordination, technological sophistication, and swift action. The rage of all Indians was channeled appropriately after the cowardly Pahalgam attack. And now FATF's latest list has put it out in black and white that Pakistan is a terrorist nation. I'd also like everyone watching this to not just be spectators but participate in the national resolve, in the national dialogue, and show terrorism its place. Jai Hind.
Operation Synindur was not a retaliation. It was not a warning. It was a redefinition of power. On May 7, 2025 at 1:05 am, India struck deep. 9 terror hubs, 4 across Pakistan and 5 in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, were reduced to rubble in a matter of 23 minutes. There were no civilian casualties, no Indian losses. Over 100 terrorists were neutralized. Zero damage on Indian soil, and let me say this on record, not a single Indian glass was broken. This wasn't an airstrike, this was a coordinated brilliance by the Indian Army, the Indian Air Force and the Navy. With the indigenous missile systems like the Akash missiles, Swati radars, the Rafale jets, Pakistan's retaliation failed miserably. They launched drones, they fired missiles, and every single one of them was intercepted, while our jets returned home without a scratch. This is not the India of 1999, this is the Bharat of 2025 that is decisive, that's unforgiving and unstoppable. Terror has no sanctuary anymore. If you dare harm even one Indian, we will come for you with the fire of our forces, with the fury of our flag, and most importantly, with the faith of our people. Jai Hind.
And viewers, with that, we take a quick look at the trends that are running hot on social media today. All right, it's time for fast trends. In a high-altitude power move, South Korea, US and Japan teamed up for a joint air drill over international waters, headlined by none other than the US's heavyweight B-52H strategic bomber. Now, it's the bomber's first big appearance over the Korean peninsula in 2025, and yes, it is meant to catch the North Korea's eye. This mid-air show of strength was not just for style, it synced perfectly with a trilateral defense meet in Seoul, where ministers swapped notes on ramping up military cooperation. What is the big agenda? Well, countering North Korea's growing nuclear swagger and its blossoming bromance with Russia. We have some stellar power move visuals running on your screens right now. In a swift maritime operation, the Indian Coast Guard rescued a US-flagged vessel in distress in the Andaman and Nicobar Islands in the Indian Ocean. Responding to an SOS, Indian Coast Guard ships reached the site promptly, ensuring the crew's safety and stabilizing the vessel. The incident highlights the growing coordination between Indian and American maritime forces. Officials praised the professionalism of the rescue team, calling it a textbook example of international maritime cooperation. The rescued crew reported to be safe and in good health. A powerful tornado ripped through parts of the United States Midwest today, flipping vehicles, downing power lines, and sending residents scrambling for cover. The National Weather Service had issued early warnings, but the storm still packed a surprise punch, leaving behind a trail of debris and dramatic sky footage. Stunning video from the US showed a massive dark grey shelf cloud rolling over Washington, D.C. as the region was hit by strong thunderstorms. Indian astronaut Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla is currently docked at the International Space Station. The crew is expected to return to Earth 14th of July. Suit up for the splashdown, viewers. Group Captain Shukla will be undocking from the International Space Station very, very soon. And, Group Captain Shukla wrapped up the mission with a meal that was out of his world. It was literally out of this world. As the ISS adventure neared its end, he celebrated with a 3-course feast. On the menu, shrimp cocktails, sizzling fajitas, and a sweet serving of his favorite gajar ka halwa. The dinner was both a nod to home and a toast to teamwork. Group Captain Shukla dined with his international crewmates, blending flavors and friendships. From microgravity to mithai, this farewell dinner hit all the right notes. And countdown to the splashdown, of course, never tasted so good. Call it boots, brains and bhakti. The Indian Army, in close coordination with the civil administration and Central Armed Police Forces, have rolled out Operation Shiva 2025 to safeguard Sri Amarnath Ji Yatra, an annual spiritual journey now under tight security cover. With the ghost of Pakistan-backed threats post-Operation Synindur still looming, this is not just routine deployment, it's a full-blown fortress on the move. Over 8,500 troops, high-tech surveillance and a multi-layered counter-terror grid are now in play along with both Yatra routes. From anti-terror operations to disaster response drills, it's a blend of spiritual sanctity and military precision. Viewers, Radhika Yadav, a 25-year-old rising sports star, tennis star, was shot dead in Gurugram by her own father, who later confessed to the crime. He fired 5 bullets, 3 hit her. He shot her from the back. The motive being what we understand, what we are gathering is that he could not bear what society had said about her success. A daughter's pride became a father's shame, viewers. The police call it a cold-blooded, deliberate act, not a crime of passion. And remember, this is a young girl, 25-year-old Radhika Yadav. The FIR concluded the criminal was Deepak Yadav, 49-year-old. He'll be held under IPC sections 302 and Arms Act invoked as well. Key FIR points as per police, accused fired 5 rounds using a licensed revolver. Accused confessed motive almost instantly, saying that he felt insulted by the taunts from society about living off his daughter's income. You heard that right. Accused also stated he ordered Radhika to shut down her academy, the tennis academy she was running. She refused to do that, and also what had disturbed this father of hers were the so-called comments on her character and social media activity as well that could have been possible triggers. The FIR includes witness statement from the colony guard who saw Deepak exiting with a revolver and saying, "Maine maar diya," that I killed her. All right, viewers, that's all we could pack in this edition of Trending. We'll be right back with the Super Prime Time debate with Arnab Goswami.
Co-powered by Century Ply Club Prime. Raho befikar.
Amity has been ranked amongst the top 3% universities globally, a testimony to Amity's globally benchmarked quality.
पैसा लगाना है तो सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम पे लगाओ। डूबेगा नहीं, जलेगा भी नहीं, कोई खा नहीं जाएगा, धोखा नहीं देगा, ऊपर नीचे भी नहीं होगा, सेफ रहेगा, सिक्योर्ड, मिनिमम 30 साल का रिटर्न देगा। अब इससे बेटर इन्वेस्टमेंट है तो बताओ। सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम, रहो बेफिक्र।
MDH की देगी मिर्च,
देगी मिर्च का तड़का, अंग अंग फड़का।
MDH की देगी मिर्च।
छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
As the war scorches and US weapons start arriving again, the Kremlin is sending a message: we're still open to peace. But here's the twist. Is President Zelensky finally being cornered into deciding if he really wants to blink at all? Russia's war on Ukraine has raged for more than 3 years. But now...
Radhika Yadav's autopsy report is out. Her report reveals Radhika was shot 3 times, died due to excessive blood loss. Witness Harpal Kaur Bedi identifies Jagdish Titler in 1984 riots case. Witness says on the day of the riots, Titler was seen arriving at Gurudwara Pul Bangash area in white ambassador car with others. NSA Ajit Dawal hails success of Operation Synindur. He says India decimated 9 Pakistani terror dens, challenging Pakistan to show proof of damage. Anger against Kangana Ranaut in Mandi after her statement that she has no funds for the flood hit Mandi. Maharashtra Minister Sanjay seen smoking with bag full of cash next to him. Shocking video surfaces day after IT notice served. The mastermind of UP conversion racket Changur Baba has been arrested by UP STF.
Co-powered by Century Ply Club Prime. रहो बेफिक्र।
पैसा लगाना है तो सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम पे लगाओ। डूबेगा नहीं, जलेगा भी नहीं, कोई खा नहीं जाएगा, धोखा नहीं देगा, ऊपर नीचे भी नहीं होगा, सेफ रहेगा, सिक्योर्ड मिनिमम 30 साल का रिटर्न देगा। अब इससे बेटर इन्वेस्टमेंट है तो बताओ। सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम, रहो बेफिक्र।
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल, ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े, क्या निराला MDH मसाला। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे, केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
Hi, this is Chef Ranveer Brar. Guarantee you brilliance on behalf of IAHM.
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध। MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा।
The reason we've launched the Nationalist Collective is because we believe it is time now for a group of ideologically driven Indians to drive the destiny of our country. For far too long, people who have had interests inimical to national interest have held sway. We need to put nationalism first, nation first. The Nationalist Collective is a very clear and sharp movement, presents the spirit of a new India which stands by what is right, does what is right, and raises its voice for what is right. Remember, this country is safe only if it is in the hands of nationalists. This country will grow.
25-year-old Radhika killed by her father in cold blood. Social media reels, daughter's income, societal pressure. An argument, fit of rage, and 3 gunshots in the back. Debating tonight at 8 p.m.
Kangana makes bizarre remarks in disaster-hit Mandi. No cabinet, no funds, and locals confront photo op. Has Kangana become a liability for BJP? Debating tonight at 8:30 p.m.
Getting in some more breaking news right now as tremors have been felt in the national capital and the surrounding areas. The latest details that we have is that a suspect-like event, possibly an earthquake that has been reported just a short while back in Najafgarh in the national capital. It's 3.4 Richter scale earthquake that has been measured. In fact, that's the latest that we are getting in right now. This was felt around 7:50 this evening. What we know so far is that this is a 3.4 Richter scale earthquake that has been reported so far. No word really coming in with regards to whether at all there have been any damages. In fact, in the last 48 hours, this is the second such tremors that have been felt in the national capital. In fact, right now the epicenter appears to be Najafgarh in the national capital itself. In fact, some more details now coming in of the epicenter. The latest updated information that we have, it is in Jhajjar in Haryana, where the epicenter has now been located. In fact, more details coming in from the Seismologic Institute giving us more details that it's a 3.7 earthquake measured around 3.7 tremors were felt. This is the second in the last 2 days. That's the latest now coming in. What we do not know whether at all there has been any further damages or for that matter any casualties. No details really coming in at this point in time. 7:50 this evening when the second tremor was actually felt in the national capital and the surrounding areas. We'll try and get you more details as the latest now coming in of an earthquake that has been reported around 7:50 this evening. It has been measured at 3.7. The epicenter of the earthquake happens to be Jhajjar in Haryana. There are some other surrounding areas where the tremors have been felt. 3.7 the Richter scale, that's the measured 3.7 magnitude earthquake that has been reported. The epicenter happens to be in Haryana. So far, no details really emerging with regards to whether at all there has been any damage that has been reported or for that matter any casualties. But important to point out is that this is the second such tremor that has been felt in the national capital region.
From the Republic Media Network headquarters, it's time for Arnab Goswami on the debate. Arnab Goswami on the debate.
On the show tonight, 25-year-old tennis player Radhika murdered by her father in cold blood over social media and societal pressure. It's the most gruesome case of the year. At 8:30 p.m., the disaster called Kangana Ranaut, how she's stirring controversy. She's more active on social media than among her constituents. At 9 o'clock tonight, a man of the hour, the spectacular, amazing, incredible Ajit Doval speaks on the hugely successful operation on Pakistan's air bases, and he's taken and given a harsh reality check to the likes of the Sabut gang. And ladies and gentlemen, 25-year-old Radhika Yadav, a state-level tennis player who lived in Gurugram, was shot 4 times in the back of her head while cooking breakfast at her home in Gurugram by her own 51-year-old father. Now, ladies and gentlemen, yesterday there were reports that she was killed over an Instagram reel. Now sources reveal that 51-year-old Deepak, who's her father, confessed that he claims he was getting taunts, accusing him of living off his daughter's fame. She was running a tennis academy, and out of that rage, he killed her in cold blood. We still do not know details of this case, but we know that Radhika was killed by her 51-year-old father with 4 bullets, all fired from behind with chilling deliberation. Each bullet was retrieved from her body, and she bled to death. This is not just murder, it is a brutal indictment of a mindset that treats daughters as property. That treats daughters as property, not people. When obedience is demanded at gunpoint, society must ask, how did we come to this point? Radhika had a promising future ahead. Promising state-level tennis player, ranked 1999 by the ITF, had competed in ITF tournaments in Indore, Kuala Lumpur and Malaysia, made her country proud, moved into the global sports entry-level circuit, and at the age of just 25 ran her own tennis academy. This is not an isolated case I'm talking about tonight. This reflects a very troubling pattern that we often overlook. Incidents like this, where daughters face violence for asserting their identity or achieving success, are much more common than we may realize. And when this man, this 51-year-old man, says, I killed my daughter because she was doing too well. I killed my daughter because she didn't listen to me. I killed my promising daughter, my tennis academy running 25-year-old independent daughter, because some people told me I was living off her income. Then I'd like to remind you of many other cases. It's gruesome, but I'll say 10 days back, a father killed his 9-year-old daughter because she failed to ride her bicycle, because she fell off her bicycle. In June this year, a man killed his daughter because she got less marks in a mock test. The story is told sometimes that we should be proud of all the achievements of women, daughters of our country, and we should be, but we are not telling the full story of how we still treat women. We say, yes, we are so proud of all the women scientists at ISRO, but are we honest enough to say that in January this year, a 20-year-old Tanu Gurjar was shot dead by her father days before her wedding for refusing to marry the man that the father has chosen for her. This happened in Gwalior. We talk about all the incredible women achievers of this country, and we're so proud of them, aren't we? We're so proud of Sania Mirza, aren't we? But then there's also the case of Radhika Yadav, probably inspired by Sania Mirza, but shot at for just achieving things on her own by her own father. In December last year in Uttar Pradesh's Bulandshahr, a man named Naveen killed his own daughter for refusing a marriage proposal he had arranged at that point of time. In November last year, a 40-year-old man killed his 18-year-old daughter because she took time to finish cooking and cleaning the house. In April last year in Delhi's Bhajanpura area, 46-year-old Mohammad Shahid slit the throat of his 22-year-old daughter Shaina and his younger brother because of his suspicion. Now, if we can't protect our daughters from their own families, then what are we even building as a nation? We talk about being Viksit Bharat, we will be, but I keep saying a country does not become Viksit by developing purchasing power parity or GDP per capita alone. And there are some people in this country who call this honor killing. I say, don't you dare call this honor killing. There is no honor here. There is only shame. Shame covered in the noise of despicable and stinking patriarchy, fed by insecurity and executed in cowardice. It is time we stop hiding behind culture and call this what it is. This is not an honor killing, it is premeditated murder sanctioned by mindset. Let this be a moment of national soul searching. I wonder why, and I request all the members of the Nationalist collective tonight, because you see, the politicians have failed us. The politicians have failed us. I repeat for a third time tonight, when it comes to be counted, the politicians fail the people of this country. And when politicians fail, society must awaken. Therefore, I call upon all of you, use the Nationalist Collective as your forum. Join us and express your anger against the politicians, because today all the politicians of the country, all of them should only have been talking about this. And in all the cases I mentioned, remember, politicians didn't speak because, see, politicians don't want to tread on the toes of vote banks. They look at everything, these politicians, as vote banks. They look at the identity, language, religion of the accused and the perpetrator, then they make up their own mind. They don't think about nation first. Let Radhika's story not be reduced to a mere headline. Let this be a moment of reckoning for every girl who was told to stay silent, for every girl who was told to stay silent, stay small, stay invincible, for every Radhika whose name we will never know. The bullets did not just pierce Radhika's back. They pierced an illusion that our daughters are safe at home. The fact is, think about this, our daughters are not safe at home. We try to keep looking for iconic achievers who are women. Of course, we are so proud of them, but we want to hide the reality. And our politicians fail us. They don't make these national issues. They don't have national press conferences on this. They don't come on the streets on this. Because they want to save their vote banks. This is more than murder. This is a message. And that answer to that message is only outrage. There has to be an unrelenting national outrage on this. Let's debate.
25-year-old Radhika Yadav, a tennis player full of ambition and dreams, was murdered in Haryana's Gurugram on Thursday. She was murdered in her own house by her father. While the news has shocked the nation, the motive behind the murder is even more shocking. 49-year-old Deepak Yadav shot 5 rounds, 3 hitting his daughter in a fit of anger because he could not bear the taunts of society.
6 पुलिस स्टेशन गुरुग्राम में एक इन्फॉर्मेशन मिली थी एक निजी हॉस्पिटल से कि एक लड़की है जिसको कुछ गोलियां लगी हैं जो कि मृत अवस्था में हॉस्पिटल में है। पुलिस के द्वारा उसके घर जाकर के पता किया गया लेटर ऑन, तो मालूम हुआ कि ये जो राधिका है ये टेनिस प्लेयर थी और फिलहाल ये कोई अपनी टेनिस एकेडमी चला रही थी। इसके पिता के द्वारा इसको गोलियां मारी गई हैं, जिसको पुलिस के द्वारा अरेस्ट कर लिया गया है और उससे पूछताछ की गई तो उन्होंने इस घटना को अंजाम देना स्वीकार किया है।
Radhika started a tennis academy where she trained young children, reportedly after an injury. She paid 35,000 rupees as rent per month to run this academy, her dream project.
दिन तारीख तो नहीं बताया कि ले 1 महीना या 25 दिन कुछ ग्राउंड मतलब चलाया, उसके बाद में फिर चले गए।
क्या रेंट पे लिया था?
हाँ, रेंट पे लिया था।
ये तीनों कोर्ट उनके हैं जो हम देख रहे हैं?
हाँ, ये तीनों कोर्ट लिए थे सर।
कितने बच्चे आते होंगे सीखने के लिए?
सर अभी नई नई एकेडमी चालू करी थी तो वो एक बेटी आती थी, एक बेटा आता था।
डेली रोजाना आती थी?
हाँ, रोजाना आते थे।
अलग अलग बैच चलते थे, सुबह शाम या सुबह आना शाम को नहीं आना, इस तरीके?
नहीं, दोनों टाइम। बोलने चालने में बहुत अच्छा था, मतलब भैया करके बात करते थे कभी भी, मतलब ऐसे नहीं कि ओ क्या है, ऐसे कुछ भी नहीं, मतलब भैया इधर आ जाओ, मेरा काम कर दो फिर चले जाओ।
Radhika's father, Deepak Yadav, has informed the police that he would be told that he must be enjoying his daughter's earning. A comment that would make most of the fathers swell with pride made this insecure man burn in agony. The words that he could have taken as compliments became taunts for Radhika's father. He ordered his daughter to shut the academy. When she did not, he shot her thrice, reportedly while she was cooking for her sick mother on her birthday.
हम मंदिर में थे, मंदिर से होने के बाद में हमने यहाँ बात करते हुए 3 लेडीज को मैं देखा, दीपक को, पत्नी को, वाइफ को और 2 लेडीज और था। तो मैं ये देखा कि क्या बात कि हल्ला हो रहा था, तो बारिश हो रहा था, तो मैं फिर भी सुनने लगा कि बात क्या है। फिर इतने देर में आधे घंटा के बाद फिर दीपक निकला उधर से, पिस्टल लेके बोला हमने मार दिया।
In his confession to the police, the killer father has said he was uncomfortable with people's comments as he felt it was an attack to his honor and reputation. Republic reached Wazirabad to investigate Deepak Yadav's claim of taunts by village people and found a different picture.
पुलिस को स्टेटमेंट दिया है, उस स्टेटमेंट के दौरान ये साफ तौर पे कहा है कि वो गांव जाया करते थे। ये जो वजीराबाद का इलाका है, जिस घर में हम बैठे हैं वो उनका घर है, वहाँ आया करते थे। आसपास के लोग जो है उनका मजाक उड़ाते हैं। आप ये कह रही हैं कि साढ़े 3 साल से वो यहाँ आए नहीं हैं?
नहीं, मैं जब से यहाँ पे आई हूँ तो मैंने आज तक उनकी शक्ल नहीं देखी। मैं नहीं देखा तक नहीं कि कैसे हैं कैसे नहीं हैं। हमने उनको कभी नहीं देखा।
So far, there is no financial struggle angle. In fact, reports suggest that Deepak Yadav owned multiple properties and earned lakhs of rupees every month. Some reports suggest that Radhika's social media reels and music video triggered Deepak Yadav. Is it a case of honor killing? Or is there more to this shocking case?
We have Pratibha Prahlad with us, well-known activist, Advaita Kaila, fantastic columnist and speaker, Lalita Kumaramangalam, former chairperson of the National Commission for Women, and senior advocate, Supreme Court, N.S. Napinai. Ms. Napinai, I'd like to come to you. Something about this case is not adding up for me. It's appearing too simplistic. You see, Radhika Yadav is found lying in a pool of blood in the kitchen. She has 3 gunshot wounds into her back. A total of 5 bullets have been fired. The revolver that kills her is found in the drawing room of the house. Radhika Yadav is shot by her own father. Right? He says that I killed her because people were making fun of me, saying you are living off your daughter's income. This seems too simplistic to me. What are your first thoughts on this case?
One, the first immediate thought that I had was facts indeed are stranger than fiction. And as you rightly have pointed out, the details don't add up. That an offense has been committed is all we can speak about today. A confession to police does not carry evidentiary value. Having said that, we have certain facts before us and we'll have to take it from there. You know, the first thing that comes to my mind is, under the Arms Act, one of the criteria that they have to verify is mental health. So what kind of mental health verification are they doing if a person can be given a licensed gun in a situation like this? Secondly, what is the usage that this gun has been put to? Where is it being kept and how is it being used? And what could have been the trigger? I think that can only come from further investigation or from the accused himself. It may be a bit premature for us to look at it, but that this case impacts gender justice, it impacts women in sports, it impacts women in any profession for that matter, and their development is a given. Because if you're going to struggle to first get an education, then you have to struggle to get a career, and after you get a career, you have to struggle even if you're successful in it, then we still haven't really done
I just if you could pause for a while. This is not adding up for me for a few reasons.
Yeah, can I come
Because it's being said she's shot at the back of the head while she's cooking in the kitchen. It's Lalita ji, this is one thing which is said, and then there is a report that while Radhika Yadav's father and she were discussing shutting down her tennis academy, an argument broke out. In a fit of rage, he shot his daughter. Then how is it that the second theory going around is that she was cooking and she was shot at from the back? You know, both these are completely contradictory versions.
Arnab, a parent is supposed to protect his child, son, daughter, whatever.
Yes.
And there is no excuse. There can be absolutely no excuse for any parent to harm their daughter or son in any way. To say there's a trigger, I lost my temper, people taunted me, blah, blah, blah. That's what I'd call it. This is a crime. premeditated or not can be decided later, but it is a crime. You can't kill anybody. You don't have the right to kill anybody. Basically, it's just a patriarchal mindset. The man must have been frustrated. I guess I may be wrong, but I don't think I am. That he was not able to control.
No, is there some collective hiding of the facts going on here?
Yeah, I mean, she had her own will. She lived her life in her own way. Probably was not willing to keep taking his nagging or whatever it was that he was trying to do. He couldn't control her. So he thought he'd finish her off. The cost of a woman's life, the cost of a daughter's life must have been so paltry in his imagination or his mindset or whatever word.
No, but I think there are other angles here. You see, I've been seeing this for such a long time, Advaita, that there are so many cases where young women are killed, and immediately, within seconds, the media says honor killing and over. So honor killing means, the honor of the man of the family was affected. The man of the family has honor, the woman brings disrepute, man defends his honor, and honor killing happens. This explanation I refuse to accept here.
I agree. I think you picked it up. I mean, it's this honor killing is, call it honor killing, put it in a drawer and slide the drawer shut.
Slide the drawer shut.
That's the purpose it serves. This is very, very strange because remember, tennis is an expensive sport. This father was highly encouraging of his daughter. He traveled everywhere with her. He paid for her tennis lessons, her travel. All of it he took care of. He invested money in that academy that she started up, bought expensive rackets worth 1 lakh each. I mean, this is serious investment. I mean, like your reporter said, this villager story doesn't make sense because he hasn't been back to his village in 3 years. And believe me, Wazirabad, I'm from this area, I live here. So I know Wazirabad is next door to where he lives, Sushant Lok. Too. So, and they've still not gone there. So I think this whole thing that I was frustrated, I wanted her to close the academy, or she was making reels. Now these reels, she had a locked profile. She had only some 67 followers. So it wasn't like she was very active or open on Instagram or social media, wherein there was any issue of that sort. Interestingly, Arnab, the Instagram has been immediately deleted. So there's a premeditated quality to this also, wherein you come in and you shoot her from the back, which means that she didn't know what was coming her way. This was clearly something that she was caught off guard about, because if it had been a crime of passion, there would have been some interaction, some argument, some shots to the front, but she was shot in the back of the head.
No, but you see, this.
So there are a lot of things here that just don't make sense.
This is an extraordinary talent. She has played in ITF tour tournaments. She has represented the country in the International Tennis Federation. She lost in the second round in Malaysia and the first round in 2 other meets, right? The ITF is the main governing body for junior and entry-level tournaments, while the WTA governs the top layer. So she's been trying to get into global tennis. She may not have done very well in her initial global outings, but she comes back, she starts a training academy, she rents a tennis court for 35,000 rupees a month, she starts training people there, she's doing fairly well, right? Now, funny thing is, Pratibha, since yesterday, many stories are coming out and it is all police plants. And the media is happily, first the story comes out, she was making reels, so he shot her. Ridiculous. It is all aimed. Second story goes out, she was doing well, so he killed her. Third story goes out, no, he wanted the tennis academy shut. Fourth story goes out, when he goes to get milk, people make fun of him that your daughter is doing very well. Very well. So 4 theories have come out. And this police is also putting out multiple theories. Because in certain parts of the country, it's very easy to dismiss any case like honor killing.
So, Arnav, you've put the issues in perspective. I mean, completely in perspective. Not just now, but in your opening remarks as well. My take on this is that, even today, women's independence, even in their own homes, is a grim kind of, is challenged by their own families. Yeah. And it's a far cry from reality. And this thing, what you've spoken about, Radhika Yadav's murder, is not just a family tragedy in her own house. It's a societal tragedy because it kills many girls' hopes of living and having autonomy over their body, their mind, and their finances. Now, my point is that, we are, like you said, we're talking of Viksit Bharat, and and if women are not given equal opportunities to blossom, to prosper in their own houses, how are they going to do it in society? So I'm very, very confused, because this father is either dysfunctional, or he has some mental issues, or he's got some deep-seated patriarchal issues, and this could be a patriarchal backlash as well. And we know that. But no, I'm not going to call it honor killing. I like the way you said it's a dishonor killing, because these things that happen do not honor anybody. They don't honor the father, they don't honor the family, they don't honor the country or community or society. So they are a huge blot on our society that fails to accept even today that a woman can have autonomy over her, over her physical self, over her financials, and over her mind. And this is about control. It's not about anything else. It's about male control. And, we as a society should raise boys to respect women and share their joy in their success. This young girl was not just a tennis star. She was also an entrepreneur. She started an academy to earn her own, livelihood. If, like you said, the first theory that she was killed because she had an academy, I mean, that's a ridiculous kind of a theory. Why would a father, dishonor her? And
it's a gut feel I have about this, like the Sushant case. I have a feeling this is not adding up for me. Like the Sushant case, I believe people are lying about it.
Yes, it's not adding up. It's not adding up.
You have the same feeling here, Pratibha? Do you feel the same way, Advaita?
Right, absolutely right.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Arnab, we just don't know right now, and something is going on. Something is absolutely going on, and the facts just don't bear out the version that is being put out into the public domain. And it's very important that we get to what the actual motivation is. Because are we ever going to learn anything? Arnab, globally, 60% of women are killed not in stranger homicides, but in intimate partner homicides, in people who they know actually go out and kill them. In India, 40 to 50% of women are killed by in-laws and husbands. So you can imagine if 60% is the global average.
Those are the cases that get covered up the most, Lalita. When the crime happens in the family, it's covered up quickly.
Yeah, last week, if you remember, I was on your show about that girl who killed herself, who committed suicide because she was forced into it, dowry harassment by her in-laws. Again, it is the people whom you trust the most, whom you are supposed to respect, love, etc., 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 the most, who turn around and literally kill you. And in this case, it's not just killing one's hopes and dreams. He has actually killed her. As Pratibha said, this is not just one girl. This has happened to so many girls, and this is how they set an example, that you cannot cross certain lines. Any woman or any young girl who says that I have the courage, I have the perseverance, I have the hard work, I have the talent, I'm standing up for myself, I'm standing up for my family, I would like to set an example. Their voices are scorched and they're just killed.
Today I also wonder what the problem is. That problem is all the parties which say ladki hu, lad sakti hu, beti padhao, beti bachao, both BJP, Congress, all relatively quiet on this. Because
exactly, I haven't heard anything from anybody.
Why are the political parties, are they busy with something else? I think they must be doing something very busy. They don't talk about these cases. Is it because they want a patriarchal vote bank?
Possibly, as you mentioned earlier, the Yadavs are a very important vote bank. That's the only thing that strikes me. Or maybe basically because they are also equally patriarchal at heart.
Why doesn't the BJP carry out a protest rally in Gurugram over this?
Arnab, because they'll have to swim in that protest rally.
No, but then if they can't take a position on issues like this, what's the point?
I'm
asking the BJP. Well, you are in power. Why don't you have a protest rally on this? Why doesn't the BJP lead by example and have a protest rally? Why doesn't the BJP, Haryana BJP Chief Minister have a protest rally, a silent march that goes through the streets of Sushant Lok, Gurugram, Wazirabad, all across Uttar Pradesh? Why does the Bharatiya Janata Party not announce a statewide series of silent marches on this issue? Why does the Congress party stop its pro-Waqf protest and protest against the way women are actually treated in this country? Because then they will say, oh, but we've given you gas cylinders, you should be happy. Oh no, we've given you gas cylinders, you should be happy, you should be quiet. We are giving you 1500 rupees in subsidy. We are giving you a direct cash transfer, you should be happy. This is a reality. You see, Lalita, this aspect, I am so angry with the political parties today, Lalita. They've really let the people down. This should be a subject on which everybody, Prime Minister, President of India, all cabinet ministers should be tweeting and expressing outrage on this. Supreme Court judges, everyone.
The girl who died in Tamil Nadu last week was from Coimbatore. The national president of the BJP Mahila Morcha is from Coimbatore, Vandati Srinivas. Not a peep out of her. Nothing happened. All of this is just, I don't know, it's like, a drama serial on TV or something like that.
But this is happening in our country. We don't want to talk about it, right? We can't I am saying on TV, you cannot be Viksit Bharat if this case happens.
Yeah. No, what sort of honor, what sort of...
We don't want to be distracted by GDP numbers and purchasing power ratios.
Women are unsafe in their own homes.
And we want action against the policemen who are planting stories in this case.
Absolutely.
Nail on the head.
But will that ever happen?
That's
probably being
irresponsible leaks
to pander to a certain kind of public. So I just wanted to come in on one point, which is that we have identified a problem. We should also look for solutions now. And what is it that we could probably work on? Take away all the political diatribe. And
I have a feeling, not political diatribe, but I have a feeling, Ms. Napinai. No, I have a feeling, Ms. Napinai, political parties look upon women as vulnerable and emotional vote banks. They want to use in cases like Nirbhaya. They don't understand the anger among women. They don't understand that women don't just need subsidies. There is no show of support today. I will appeal today to the President of India. I will appeal to the President of India, Draupadi Murmuji, to please make this a national issue. I request the President of India to lead from the front on this. Rupali is calling from Mumbai. Rupali.
Education and awareness also.
True, I agree, Ms. Napinai. Rupali.
Hello.
Hi. Rupali is calling from Mumbai. Rupali, hi. Your thoughts on this?
Arnab, I just want to put a point ahead. It's always an amazing thing talking to you, being on a show, and what I constantly watch your shows. So, I salute you for being an Indian. Getting on the point. Women in India, Hindus, and the father, I might be controversial when I'm saying this. The father, when he saw the videos of his daughter with what's his name, Imamu something, Haq or something, he's from this, what do you call that, Crime Patrol actor and everything. He got angry. He got pissed off. I can't blame him. So, mera ye kehna hai. This is my opinion. I'm not saying this should be everybody's opinion, but what is happening currently in India, ye jo love, jihad and all that.
No, please, now, Rupali. Please don't even indirectly try to pull a justification for this, please. I totally disagree with your thoughts on this. No. This is a murder case, please. You can't give a societal explanation.
The father is supposed to protect
something like this.
Please. No, this is nothing. Please don't bring a love jihad angle in this. This is so bad.
I think it's not right.
No, it's not right. Vanita from Chennai. Vanita.
Yeah, hi. I will directly go to the point that I am surprised. Where is the mother?
Where is the mother?
Why is she not getting and standing up for the daughter? Now that man has done whatever, I think so that means the lady of the house was also suffering with something. That is why she is not able to speak up for the daughter. There is something which is really not catching up.
Yeah.
It is a very, how much ever point police gave, but it doesn't work like that.
It's disturbing. The problem what can happen, Vanita, is that later, right, later, if the mother turns hostile, if the mother does not give a statement against her own husband, she would be the eyewitness. It would be the members of the family who would have to, whose statement would be important.
But I doubt
Advaita?
She didn't see anything. She said she was unwell and in another room, so she didn't see
that is a very
anything.
easy thing to say. I was unwell in another room. I was not there. Nobody in the family claims to have seen it. Lalita, that's also interesting.
Correct.
So the cover-up has already happened.
I don't know if any of you have ever heard a gunshot. I have once. It almost blasts your ears. It's impossible that you're in the same house and you didn't hear it. So I'm afraid what Arnab is saying may be right, that there's a cover-up that has started before even the last shot was fired. And I don't think the father would have done it without anybody else in the house, at the very least hearing the noise. I mean, I agree. Where is the mother? And after all this has happened, why hasn't she sat up for her daughter? I mean, stood up for her daughter. I think the whole family needs to be taken to task. The father, yes, directly, because he's the one who wielded the gun and has even given his confession. But also in a house, you don't live in isolation. A girl who's doing the cooking.
See, once something happens in a house, it's very difficult to put things together. Look at the Arushi case. I don't want to open my mouth. Everybody knows. I've always had concerns about the Arushi case.
Yes, absolutely. Exactly.
Now in the Arushi case, when you ask questions, you know, why are you getting in bad media? You see, the family can come together and give any story.
Yes. You know, there are so many question marks about it.
About Arushi,
and
exactly.
I don't think we've got to the truth there at all.
Yeah, but all this, people don't want to talk about it. People don't want to talk about that. People don't want to talk about Arushi. People don't want to talk about Arushi. Vaishali Shinde from Kolhapur. Vaishali, hi.
Yeah, Arnab, good evening.
Good evening.
Am I audible?
Good evening. Yes, please, Vaishali. You are loud and clear. Yes.
See, Arnab, since 1998, I have been in teaching field, education field. And similarly, for 6 to 7 years or something,